5 Curious Facts You Didn't Know About Bible Stories. In this video, we will explore astonishing stories and profound lessons, from Daniel's unwavering faith in the lion's den to Jonah's transformative odyssey inside a great fish. We will uncover the richness of love in the King James Bible translation, the magnitude of miracles performed by Jesus, and the significant evolution of the term Christian. Get ready to unravel mysteries and rediscover these ancient narratives that continue to impact the world today. Number 1. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den for disobeying the command not to pray. This story is found in chapter 6 of the book of Daniel in the Old Testament. Daniel, a devout Jew and a high official in the kingdom of Darius the Mede, was known not only for his exceptional administrative ability but also for his unwavering faith in God. The lion's den episode is triggered when Daniel's colleagues, moved by envy due to the preference and trust that King Darius placed in him, devise a plan to eliminate him. Knowing that Daniel was unwavering in his devotion and daily prayer to God, his adversaries persuade the king to issue an edict that forbade praying to any deity or human being, except to the king himself, for a period of 30 days. The trap was set, knowing that Daniel, faithful to his convictions, would not comply with such a command. Daniel indeed defies the royal edict and continues his prayers 3 times a day, with his windows open towards Jerusalem. As expected, he is discovered, and the consequences of his disobedience lead to him being thrown into the lion's den. However, the story takes a miraculous turn when Daniel, protected by God, emerges unscathed from this test of faith. God sends an angel to shut the lions' mouths, and Daniel remains among them unharmed. The next day, King Darius, who had been distressed about Daniel's fate and had recognized the injustice of the edict, rushes to the den and rejoices to find Daniel alive. This event leads the king to recognize the power of Daniel's God and to issue a new decree urging the people to revere the God of Daniel. Daniel's accusers are then thrown into the den, where they meet a very different fate than Daniel's. Number 2. The story of the Prophet Jonah is the only one in the Bible where a large fish plays a crucial role. One of these narratives, unique in its kind, is the story of the Prophet Jonah. What distinguishes this account from others in the scriptures is the crucial role played by a large fish, an element that not only adds a mystical nuance but also symbolizes a profound spiritual teaching. Jonah, a reluctant prophet, receives the divine mandate to go to the city of Nineveh to warn its inhabitants of the impending divine wrath due to their iniquities. However, Jonah, fleeing from this responsibility, embarks on a journey in the opposite direction. It is here where the narrative takes a dramatic and symbolic turn. A fierce storm threatens the vessel, and Jonah, understanding that his flight is the cause, offers himself to be thrown into the sea to calm the storm. At this critical moment, a fish of extraordinary proportions emerges from the depths and swallows Jonah. What follows is intense reflection and transformation. Inside the fish's belly, Jonah remains for 3 days and 3 nights, a period that symbolizes a spiritual rebirth. This involuntary confinement becomes a forced retreat, a space for introspection and prayer. Jonah emerges from this experience not only physically intact but also spiritually renewed, ready to fulfill the mission he had initially rejected. Number 3. The word love appears 310 times in the King James Bible. The King James Bible, one of the most revered and deeply studied translations of the sacred text, is not only noted for its majestic prose and literary influence but also for the profound concepts it contains, including love. This sentiment, essential in human experience, is woven throughout the scriptures, making 310 notable appearances in the King James Version of the Bible. This figure is not merely a quantitative detail, but a reflection of the centrality of love in biblical teaching. Love, in the biblical context, transcends mere emotion or affection. It is presented as a fundamental principle underlying the relationship between God and humanity, as well as in interactions among people. From "love your neighbor as yourself" in Leviticus to the sublime hymn of love in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the King James Bible offers a multifaceted exploration of love. This word evokes God's mercy, altruistic sacrifice, patience, kindness, and truth. It is fascinating to note how a single word can capture a plethora of meanings and nuances, and how its repeated mention acts as a golden thread uniting various books and literary genres within the Bible. Each appearance of love is like a pearl in a necklace, unique in its context but contributing to the whole of spiritual and moral wisdom that the Bible has offered throughout the centuries. Number 4. In the Bible, Jesus performed 37 miracles detailed in the Gospels. Within its pages, one of the central figures is Jesus of Nazareth, whose life and works are recounted with particular detail in the 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It is in these texts where a series of extraordinary events known as Jesus miracles are documented, totaling 37 miraculous events detailed. These miracles not only serve as a testimony of the divine power attributed to Jesus but also fulfill multiple purposes within the context of the biblical narratives. Each miracle, narrated with its own uniqueness, ranges from physical healings to demonstrations of mastery over nature, acts of supernatural provision, and even the resurrection of the dead. Jesus' miracles are often classified into several categories. In the first, we find the healings, where Jesus relieves the sick of their ailments, such as healing a leper or restoring sight to a blind man. The second category includes the exorcisms, through which Jesus frees individuals from evil spirits, demonstrating his authority over the supernatural. The third category encompasses miracles over nature, such as calming a storm or multiplying loaves and fish, events that reveal his dominion over the physical world. Finally, there are the resurrection miracles, like that of Lazarus, where Jesus shows his power even over death. Number 5. The word Christian only appears 3 times in the Bible. This term, widely used today to describe the followers of Jesus Christ and his teachings, has a modest origin in the Scriptures. The 3 instances where it appears are distributed in the books of Acts and 1 Peter. In Acts chapter 11, verse 26, it is recounted that it was in Antioch where the disciples were first called Christians. Then, in Acts chapter 26, verse 28, King Agrippa uses the word in his dialogue with Paul, saying, "Almost you persuade me to become a Christian." Finally, in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16, believers are exhorted not to be ashamed if they suffer as Christians. The infrequency of this term in the Bible may be surprising, especially considering the centrality of Christ in the Christian faith and the widespread use of the term today. However, this also reflects the evolution of Christianity from its beginnings as a small movement within Judaism to becoming a global and diverse religion. The designation Christian was initially adopted by those outside the movement to describe the followers of Jesus, and only later was it embraced by the believers themselves as a term of identity and belonging.